Good evening. Welcome to the ICACE4 virtual conference. My name is Yan Ho, architect and assistant professor at KMITL University in Bangkok, Thailand. I will shortly deliver a 15-minute presentation titled International High-Speed Rail Stations, Airports in Cities. This paper is co-written with Dr. Michael Mack, and information from this paper will form the basis of this presentation. To summarize my career background to date, I have over a decade's worth of professional practice experience and 3+ years worth of academic experience. My current focus within my research works is high-speed rail stations, institutional buildings, and transit-oriented developments. This presentation comprises of 3 parts. Firstly, a summary of the Pan-Asian Railway Network, currently in planning stage. Secondly, in relation to the PAR network, we will take a quick look at 2 international HSR stations. St. Pancras International in London, United Kingdom, and West Kowloon Station in Hong Kong, China. Thirdly, there will be an opportunity for questions and answers. We hereby move on to the Pan-Asian Railway Network section. This slide shows an overview of current railway developments within Asia-Pacific region. The information is sourced from Asia-Pacific Rail. This slide shows the Southeast Asian Peninsula and the proposed Pan-Asian Railway Network, an international HSR network that will connect 7 countries: China, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. It is of interest to note that due to the PAR network bypassing 7 countries with different jurisdictions, it is envisaged that international HSR stations will be required at strategic locations within the network. As the PAR network will require several international HSR stations, it is of benefit to investigate built examples of this new building typology: the St. Pancras International Station in London and the West Kowloon Station in Hong Kong. Both stations act as rail termini and are excellent examples for this type of building. To set the trend for current and future international HSR developments, an international rail renaissance has begun. A transition from domestic-only HSR network to the incorporation of both domestic and international HSR routes, concurrently taking place in Asia and Europe. Case study number 1 is the St. Pancras International Station in London, consisting of the redevelopment and expansion of the Midland Grand Hotel and Barlow's train shed located in the Camden district of London. Case study number 2 is the West Kowloon Station in Hong Kong, a new build station with the majority of functions below ground, and an iconic entrance building, located in the Yau Ti Mong district, Kowloon, Hong Kong. At first sight, the 2 stations seem radically different in appearance. However, when analyzed, bear similarities in terms of functions. and also serve as feeders to nearby megascale master plan developments. The King's Cross Central development in London and the West Kowloon Cultural District in Hong Kong, which we will soon explore further. In terms of circulation, international HSR stations operate like airports, whereby arrival and departure facilities are separated. It is of interest to note that dual customs, immigration, and quarantine facilities are co-located within the station, increasing passenger clearance efficiency and reducing overall traveling times. To summarize, the customs and immigration facilities of SPIS and WKS are similar to that of a modern airport. Airports operate on the basis of landside and airside principle. Similarly, international HSR stations operate on the basis of landside and railside. The SPIS is located adjacent to the King's Cross station, encompassing the KCCD development. The SPIS connects London, UK to mainland Europe. Heathrow International Airport can be reached via taking the metro from King's Cross Station to Paddington Station and transferring to the airport rail link. We will now look in greater detail of the spatial relationships between the SPIS and Associated Masterplan Development, KCCD. The red line shows the overall site boundary. The SPIS is marked by the green boundary, King's Cross Station marked by the orange boundary, and the yellow boundary demarcates the KCCD Masterplan Development, sized at 27 hectares. And the final slide shows the primary and secondary pedestrian access flows into the mentioned precinct, between the SPIS and KCS station and feeding into the KCCD. The WKS is located adjacent to the Kowloon station and Austin station, encompassing the WKCD development. The WKS connects Hong Kong SAR to mainland China. Chek Lap Kok International Airport can be reached via the airport rail link within the Kowloon station. We will now look in greater detail of the spatial relationships between the WKS and Associated Masterplan Development, WKCD. The red line shows the overall site boundary. The WKS is marked by the green boundary. Austin and Kowloon Station is marked by the orange boundary. And the yellow boundary demarcates the WKCD Masterplan Development, sized at 40 hectares. And the final slide shows the primary and secondary pedestrian access flows between the WKS, AS, and KS stations and the WKCD. To summarize the comparisons of these two international HSR stations and associated masterplan developments, international HSR stations act as a catalyst for urban redevelopment and development within city centers and are agents for economic stimulus. Finally, let's take a look at key photos that showcase the KCCD scheme in London. A view towards the canal with the KCCD Masterplan Development in the background. A key driver for this development is heritage-led redevelopment and to feature the canals. The focus of the master plan scheme is information and technology, mixed use, and residential usages. In this slide, we can see visitors gathered near the water's edge, enjoying the summer's day. This slide features a beautiful photography shot of Heatherwick's coal drop yards, a prime example of heritage-led redevelopment. Moving swiftly, let's take a look at key photos that showcase the WKCD scheme in Hong Kong. Note that the development is still in construction stage, hence images shown are indicative of the proposed development. This slide shows the aerial view of the WKCD development. A key driver for this project is to create an urban green lung and to incorporate a promenade, allowing visitors ease of access to the harbour's edge, granting magnificent views of the Hong Kong CBD skyline. The focus of this scheme is arts and culture, mixed use and residential usages. This slide shows the view of the promenade that encircles the WKCD development, allowing visitors ease of access to the harbour's edge. One of the key arts and cultures buildings is the M+ Art Museum. Kowloon Station and Elements development is in the background. To round things off, this slide shows two maps, the SPIS on the left and the WKS on the right. The red circle shows a 500-meter radius, approximately 6 minutes walking time, and the yellow circle shows a 1 kilometer radius, approximately 12 minutes walking time. A comparison shows that the associated master plans of both schemes are within walking distance of the international HSR stations and are also accessible from nearby neighborhoods. To conclude, I would like to summarize. International HSR stations act as a catalyst for urban redevelopment and development within city centers and are agents for economic stimulus. We have reached the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening to the presentation for International High-Speed Rail Stations, Airports in Cities. Please refer to the actual paper for further information. There will be an opportunity for the Q&A towards the end of the session. Thank you.